Welcome to the Sunday Night Chat. I'm Mike. We're in Los Angeles. It's June 8th. It's a Sunday. You might be able to hear some sirens in the background. City's going nuts. I could see the skyline from downtown over here. So if I get up later and I see a bunch of smoke clouds or something coming up, I'll let you guys know. it's not what I didn't want to talk about this. So silly. I've been paying attention to this lately. So ICE has been, arresting people, and if you watch the live streaming of it from these citizen journalists who actually talk to people on the street and ask them questions, they speak in generalities and they don't know what the hell's going on. They don't actually know who's being arrested or why. They just say all these things that they've been told to think. It's pretty obvious. So I put a little time in this morning and I watched more of the footage from the last few days down there. There's not a lot of people, by the way. 100 people, a couple hundred people. That's it. It's not like when BLM was around. Some of the same people are trying to instigate it. I watched a bunch of these people get up on a podium and talk. They're literally wearing some of them t-shirts that use the word socialistic on it, or socialism and community, and SCIU t-shirts are still being worn. You guys remember that? And it's all Marxism. All these people weaned on this book right here, Rules for Radicals. It's a book. If you haven't read it, you should read it. Let me remind you, there is a quote in here, beginning of the book, and it says, this book has a whole list of things of how to take down capitalism. This is a book that Obama was a big fan of. It was a book that Hillary Clinton, big fan. She wrote one of her theses in college on Saul Alinsky. People love this guy, loonies. And he wrote in here, lest we forget, at least an over-the-shoulder acknowledgement to the very first radical. From all our legends, mythology, and history, and in parentheses it says, and who is to know where mythology leaves off and history begins, or which is which. The first radical known to man, who rebelled against the establishment and did it so effectively that he at least won his own kingdom, Lucifer. So he's got a dedication to Lucifer in this book. And this is what these people believe. So read this and look up the Cloward Piven strategy and all that, and that's what's been going on. On top of the fact that they're just greedy elitists who, the people in the government who've been getting all these sweetheart deals and doing insider trading with the stock markets and everything else, and they want to keep this going. And they don't care. They want to overwhelm the system because they believe capitalism is a bad thing, which is, the whole country was founded on it. That's why it became the best country in the world and is the driving force of global economy. It's crazy. At any rate, Tom Homan was on, and he's down there right now. And this particular issue happened to be all about a particular business. From what I understand, I might use the wrong phraseology here a little bit, but I always forget to look at that watch when I start. It was a money laundering, tax evasion thing in this business that was basically funneling money to the drug cartels. And a lot of these people happen to be illegals as well. So that's the story with that. And it's just interesting. And again, I don't have a problem with people protesting personally. Have at it. It's just that when they block the roads, or if they are, look, you can't attack the police. You can't go out there and try to stop vehicles. They're going to win every time. Police are going to win. Now they got the National Guard down there just in case, and they're shooting them with pepper bullets, and there's CS gas in them, and rubber bullets, and all this. That's what's going to happen. Now you ask yourselves, I could hear it already, why aren't you down there, Mike? You're a YouTuber. You should be down there getting that. Would that be great for your channel? As hard as it is for some of you to believe, I actually try not to be too much of a hypocrite. I am sometimes. We all are. It's like when I'm driving the van and I'm telling you, be nice, be good humans. I'm like, hey, asshole, your blinkers don't work. The guy with the Tesla. or some other electric car, some newfangled highfalutin car that has everything, but somehow the blinkers don't work. It's so crazy. And I took this out. I got to do some work on the van tomorrow. There'll be a video upcoming on that. One of these torches here. And there's this, it's so silly. I'm watching the footage from downtown, and a huge percentage of the people there actually don't give a shit about what's going on. They want to be involved in the melee and the mix just for photos for their Instagram. That's all it is. It's a bunch of social media people trying to get clicks. And this is going to get me into YouTube, because YouTube's been pissing me off for a while now too. So we got to talk about this. And I mean, there was even this black guy, and I saw, you're looking at him, he's handing the phone to his buddy, he's down and he's posing, he's making sure he's got the flaming car behind him. They're burning people's cars. They're just creating all kinds of havoc. I can't be around that, because if I see somebody doing that, I'm going to get involved. It's not going to be good. So I just want to avoid it. And then there's a guy on the bike, and then the black guy, somebody hands him the Mexican flag, or he got up to take someone just for the photo of him holding the Mexican flag. Well, here's the thing. Those Mexican flags are nylon. I could tell that by looking at them. If I was there, I would just walk up and be like, hey, yeah, great, yeah, and light the thing on fire. It wouldn't be good. Not because, and look, I got nothing against Mexico. Got nothing against Mexican people. Got nothing against China. Got nothing against Chinese people. I like to get along with everybody. I understand the situation. I can see it from all sides. I can tell you positives and negatives from all sides. I'm not that dyed in the wool on a lot of issues. But people who, like the La Raza folks, who like they want to take over California again and New Mexico and Arizona, that's just not going to happen, dude. There was a war. There was purchases and wars. All right? You want to have a war for it? We can do that. No problem. USA versus Mexico. How do you think that's going to go? So stop the nonsense with this shit already. It's young people being used, just like Vladimir Lenin said. They are useful idiots. And here's the thing. Here's where they're really screwing up. But it works to the benefit of, patriotic Americans who are happy to see all the change that's happening right now. When people are here, the people who are here illegally, there's already been reportedly, thousands of self-deportations where people are already moving out of the country because they see what's going on. And a big reason is their benefits are getting cut off, which is good, which is a funny thing. There's something like 1.4 million illegals on Medicaid that are going to be taken off. And that's the cut to Medicaid that the lefties are screaming about. It's not a cut to Medicaid. It's a cut to the illegals. They're not supposed to get it in the first place. It's just, I don't understand what's so hard about the concept. I understand if you are a soft-hearted person and you care. I get it. But if you don't have borders, if you don't have laws, and if you don't enforce those laws, then you just don't have a country. It is unfair to the tax-paying citizens, the working citizens of this country, and it has been unfair for multiple decades to be working their asses off, paying their taxes, for that money to be wasted, and for it to be going out to, and in particular to people that snuck their way in here. It's crazy. I mean, you can come in here. There's Nate Friedman. I shared one of his videos on my YouTube channel this week. He was in Boston, and he did a great expose on migrant shelters. This one happened to be a bunch of people from Haiti in there. And he did all the legwork on this, man. And he outed all the people, and the people running the shelters, the Uber ride businesses, the laundry services, all the stuff that's going on that these people get for free. Plus they get money put in their pocket every month, and WIC cards and everything else. All their personal items, like personal grooming items, everything is free. They get rides for free. They're working under the table, a lot of them. He broke down the what people are being paid to run these things. And then, again, their relationships between the people who are running everything and how they're related, literally married to or related to through blood or other personal connections going back many decades to the politicians who allow it to happen. So this is a thing. It's a grift. Okay, this is the whole thing that Doge taught us, is that something like less than 10% of the funds, right? The billions of dollars, $100 million here, tens of millions of dollars here, billions of dollars there, $1 trillion there, whatever it is, whatever the money is that's going to a particular program, 90% or more sometimes, and up to 90%, goes to all the people that are taking money from it. It doesn't actually go to the program. So, and look, if you want to knock Doge, you can, and you can't do it if you haven't investigated. Einstein said something like, oh boy, I think it's criticism without investigation is the height of all ignorance. And that's a big problem, right? And all you gotta do is go to doge.gov.com and you can see it, line item, all the money. So if you haven't done that and you're talking a bunch of smack about it, you're an idiot. At any rate, what do you think people see who aren't from here, who are here illegally, when they see this on the news? That's lying, right? They're trying to make it sound like ICE is just going after innocent people, trying to work and provide for their family. No. This was a criminal organization that they're going after, and that's what they're right now. That is what they're targeting. But there's collateral, right? So if you're illegal, let's say you're first of all, you come here, you cross in, and you're not a documented person. You came here illegally. You already broke the law. Period. You should get thrown out for that. Let's say you're here and then you also commit other crime, whatever that is. I don't care if it's parking tickets, but in particular, if you're drinking and driving, you hurt somebody, other crimes. A lot of these guys, unfortunately, it's pretty sad. They are sexual molesters, rapists, pedophiles, all these things. They beat their wives, all of it. How about the Maryland dad? This is funny to me. Well, let me finish the point. The point is, and I don't know what the percentages are, we'll see. Maybe there's a few people who've been arrested and shipped out that maybe they didn't do any major crime, but if they weren't a citizen, then it's still legit because that's against the law to be here. Look, what if I went to Mexico and I decided to start a protest there and wave the American flag around? What do you think might happen? How do you think that would work for me? It wouldn't. I'd probably be dead, put in a Mexican prison, something. You can't go to other people's countries and do this shit. You know where you could do that? You could do it in the U.S. and you could do it in basically first world countries, right? Where the majority of the population running thing are white people because they tolerate so much shit. There's so much shit you tolerate. The thing about white people is they'll tolerate shit for a long time. In Europe, back, 1,000 years ago or so, they tolerated shit for about almost 700 years of Muslim expansionism, right? Into Northern Africa, Southern Europe, where Muslims went in and raped and pillaged and just murdered people, cut their heads off, burnt down Christian churches, built mosques where the churches were. 600 to 700 years of this shit. And then, the whitey was like, fuck this. And then the Crusades happened. The Crusades were a response to that. So it's like, okay, we see, like we did well, we do well. We know how to take care of ourselves, make money. There's people less fortunate. Okay, a little uprising here and there. We understand it. Our brains work. We can understand why. Okay, tolerate a little bit. Do what you can. You help. But they keep taking. They keep getting more and more violent. All these crazy things start. Well, eventually, once Whitey's had enough, man, it's over. That's what history shows. I'm just saying. It's crazy. It's totally insane. I mean, like, those who don't know their history are doomed to repeat it. And so the point is, if you're here illegally and you're looking at the news and you're believing what they're saying, which a lot of it is lies, because they try to make sound that there's innocent people, so they're not innocent, because already they came here illegally. But other than that, most of these people also have committed other crimes. But the media says they're innocent. Okay, let's go with that. So if you're here illegally and you haven't committed any crimes and you're just trying to work and provide a better life for yourself and your family, which is admirable, right now you can do this thing where you self-deport and you contact your local government, whatever it is. I don't know how the whole thing works, but basically you say I'm here illegally. Now you're on this list. You go away and you're like top of the list to come back in, and it's a process that you're going to have to go through. But if you do that, when you come back, you're golden. It's a pretty good deal. But what's happening is they're hearing the media say that ICE is rounding up totally innocent people who've done nothing wrong. Well, then what's the message? The people who are here who haven't committed crimes, they're seeing that. Now they're scared that ICE is going to come and round them up. Well, what the left thinks is that that'll create an uprising, as per Saul Alinsky, and they'll go out in the streets and create all these problems. And then what you get is that, American citizens, I say whitey, but it's not. It's people of all races that are Americans here, and all countries, Indians, like Hindus, right? Pakistanis, people from the Middle East, people from China, all over Asia, Russians even, Europeans, South Americans. There's people from every continent in the United States of America right now that are legal citizens. So what they want to do is they want to create enough chaos so that the legal Americans are like, oh man, we can't take this anymore. And then they ask government for more control to squash it. And once you give government more control, we see what happens. Look what's been happening up until this point. We got a new sheriff in town now. Everything's changing. All of a sudden, the laws on the books are now being enforced. Again, can't have a country without borders. Can't have a country without laws. It's very simple. Very simple. So I think all this is going to have the opposite effect. I think if you're a good human being and you're here illegally and you see that and you believe that what the media says, where it's like, hey, they're coming after us no matter what. Well, what's going to happen is a lot of them are going to self-deport because they don't want to be caught up in this. So I think it's going to have the opposite effect because the regular Americans have had enough of this shit. Remember 2020, BLM and all that? No pandemic and everything. We've had enough. We've had enough. And I've been watching a lot of wild stuff lately, and it's, these idiots, man. And YouTube's making me crazy again, too. But these people, the Bill Gates crowd and all that, the anti-population people, they want to kill us. They want to lessen the population. They say it in their own words, And they say there's going to be another plandemic. I'm calling it plandemic because they're planning it. They're saying it. Fauci said it before the first one happened. He called it. He said it was going to happen. I wonder how he knew that. It wasn't as if he was head of the department that was doing the work on that, the whole COVID-19 thing, whatever they were doing there in China. Like that's what they were doing there. That's what that was. The whole thing was a setup. We know it now. And that's the funny thing. Like, even the media is telling the truth about it now. Oh, yeah, I guess we were wrong. And then you were just supposed to be like, oh, okay, yeah. You led us down this road of bullshit, man. Same thing with the Biden stuff. Like, oh, yeah, I guess we were wrong. Now they're all writing books to try to cover their asses. They're like, well, the White House told us this and they told us that, and that's what we told you, and it wasn't our fault. That's what the White House told us. Dude, you're a journalist. You just take shit at face value? It only works that way on the left. They'll repeat whatever somebody on the left tells them, but if somebody on the right, then they do some sort of investigation and they try to dig underneath because they don't believe them. They're skeptical. They got skepticism, healthy skepticism against the right. But when it comes to the left, zero skepticism whatsoever. Whatever the left says, that's what it is, and that's what they report. And I keep giving you guys evidence of this all the time. And these people who still listen to the same sources, who've been lying to them all this time, watching all the latest stuff, and still believe in the bullshit. It's insane. I did a thing. So we had the the Elon Musk Trump thing. It was so funny. Now, look, I did a short on that. based on nothing. I knew nothing. I had watched, it was just hours old when I did that. And I had watched Benny Johnson. I like Benny, but, Benny, it's interesting. He has an inside track to a lot of these people, and they come on his show. And he does his, 5 days a week at least. Every morning he's doing multiple hours, like a block of news, what's going on. And he has got guests on live and all that. And then throughout the day he plays clips from that and then other short videos, 10, 12 minutes of whatever else is going on, including UFO stuff and all kinds of stuff. And what I don't like, and this is a problem I'm having with YouTube right now, is the AI generated thumbnails to get your attention, and which is clickbait. Because most of the time the thumbnail image has nothing to do with the story, or they're just roping you in. And then the fake headline, the clickbait headline, it just pisses me off. But he had the one on this, and they were showing the tweets that Elon said the thing about Trump and whatever. So that's what I was going by. And in my short, I basically alluded to the fact that the way I see it, it's not how it is right now. I'm going to get to the truth of it, but at that moment in time, it was, hey, man, they were friends. Elon had to leave. It's his 90 days are up. This big, beautiful bill thing has happened, all that. But there's no reason why they can't talk on the phone. They know each other. Like, to do this public thing is weird. So I thought to myself, it makes more sense to me that this is orchestrated. They do this on purpose so that Elon can gain favor with media again, rebuild his companies, get more money coming in again, and then get them to side with him so that then he could go buy one of these other news stations that are failing, like CNN, like their viewership is in the tank, MSNBC, something like that, and then do what he did with it with X. Now, that makes sense to me, right? That would be a smart move. Of course, I got quite a few negative comments because people are stupid, loony lefty type people. One lady was like, "Oh, that's just what we need, another right-wing news station." Another one? How many are there? Because I'll tell you this, people I know that are like pretty extreme right, they don't think Fox News is right enough. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just saying. It's like there's no real right-wing news station. You could say, if you don't know enough, that Fox is, that at least Fox gives a voice to that, for sure. For sure. No doubt about it. But that's the only one. That's it. Now, people will say, and this thing, stop with the Nazi bullshit. Elon is not, nobody's a Nazi. Like, none of these people are actual Nazis. As a matter of fact, the people closer to Nazism who actually, their actions make them seem like Nazis are the socialists, which is what the Nazis were, the National Social Workers Organization. That's what they do. That's what they do, man. The left is the Nazis. That's the crazy part. Whatever the left is telling you the other side is, or what they're doing, is what they're doing. Transference. It's a game. It's a psychological game. At any rate, this thing with putting your hand up doesn't make you a Nazi, by the way. If I wore a Nazi uniform right now and did the little Hitler mustache and it was like, "See, go," that still wouldn't make me a Nazi. Oh, you like that? I just did it. Oh no, somebody's going to crop that and make it look like... That doesn't make you a Nazi. It means you put on a stupid costume and you're being silly. That's all that is. If you truly believe that, your race is superior, whether it doesn't matter what race you are. If you're a black person, if you're a Hindu person, if you're a Chinese person, if you're a Japanese person, if you're a freaking Ecuadorian person, if you're a fucking Australian, I don't care where you're from, if you think your people are better than others, well, you're kind of a racist, right? That's pretty strong. I always like to think, like, to me, racism really has to do, you have to do an action. You could think it, you could think stuff, and you could say things and use words that people don't like, but that just makes you a bigot. You know what I mean? Like, true racism is when you actually take action against other people based on race. That's how I see it. But, whatever. The point is, Elon's not a fucking Nazi. It's just so stupid. And people just keep saying that. And you got Cory Booker right? Capture them doing the same thing. You can go down, if you start looking at pictures, they've all been clipped. You can get pictures of people, politicians on both sides of the aisle, putting their hand up like this at some time. They're just waving. That's all they're doing. That's all this is. That was like the okay sign. If you believe that this is some sort of white power thing, and if you believe when you see somebody doing this that they're doing a Nazi salute, you're stupid. You're stupid. You are. Can you turn up the volume? Turn up the volume. You're stupid. You're freaking stupid. Dumb. Dumb. Stop with it. Why do you? When people say it to me, I just look at them like, you are a fucking idiot. You sound vaccinated. That's how you sound to me. You sound vaccinated. It's just so silly. It's just so nuts. At any rate, that's what I said in the short. Now, more of the facts have come out. And now some stuff came out that wasn't factual. Now, the media was saying things, they're just making shit up, as they always do. They were saying something along the lines of, well, Elon's upset because subsidies for electric vehicles, things like that, are being taken away in the new bill. Not true. I mean, it might be true that those are taken out. Elon being upset about it, I don't see why. He's already got his money. Like, here's the thing. Here's what most people don't know or have forgotten. When the federal subsidies were given to green companies, remember Solyndra? The hundreds of millions of dollars, I think, given to Solyndra. Where'd that go? They went bankrupt. There's a whole litany, a list of green companies that failed, and we lost our money. That taxpayer money's gone. Because that money didn't actually went to the company. Some of the money went to the company, but the rest of the money, most of it, actually went to the people who set up the deal to make that happen, including those politicians. Money laundering, all of it. That's what Doge is going after right now. Which is why these people are fighting so hard. But what you don't know, or what you've forgotten, and you can look it up, there's video. I just watched it 2 days ago. Elon, Tesla, was the only company to pay it back. Not only did he pay back all the subsidy money, he paid it back in record time and with interest. So that's not super important for Elon. He could find ways to raise money if he needs it to start some new thing. It's not a problem. He's got enough money now. At that time, he was just starting out. And the thing with X, Twitter, I'm not on there. I'm not participating in that cesspool, especially when it was Twitter. It's just so silly. And the right was squashed, and accounts were taken down and shut off and shadow banned and all of that. All Elon did was allow free speech. That's all he did. All he did was allow for a conservative viewpoint. That's it. The left doesn't want that. The left doesn't want free speech. They want their speech. They want control. And that's what people are upset about. And these people make these comments. He's going to do what he did to Twitter to make it this right wing. But when are you talking right wing? Like, all of a sudden, like, people on the right have a voice and you don't want to hear it, so it's wrong? Like, they don't even hear the hypocrisy in what that comes out of their mouths. It's so crazy to me. It's insane. It's totally insane. But the point is that now X is doing good. I think, has he gotten to the point where he's making a profit yet? He paid a lot for that. I don't know. I haven't gotten into the weeds on that. But I don't think X is losing. I don't think X is losing money. I think it's doing pretty good now. And that's the thing. And here's the thing with Trump and Elon. And this is amazing to me because I see it. If you took some psych courses in college, you should be able to see it. And I can't tell you what the clinical term is, but Elon is a genius. He's a friggin' genius. If you don't know that, if you don't believe it, I don't know then you're stupid. You're just lazy. You're ignorant to this fact. I say this all the time. Ignorance is not... When somebody calls somebody else ignorant, that shouldn't be taken as a disparaging term. The helicopters, yesterday morning for 3 hours, there were helicopters circling. One street over and a block down. Cops all over the place. I don't know what was going on because I don't want to be involved. So I should have went out there with the camera. I was like, I don't want to be involved. When somebody says you're ignorant, It just means you don't know anything about that particular subject, or not a lot. To me, ignorance is the result of a combination of things: laziness and a lack of curiosity, basically. A little cognitive dissonance, maybe, you know. But we're all ignorant about things. But you're ignorant if you don't understand that Elon's a genius. The thing about Elon is he's also a child. You see his behavior? He's like on the cusp, man. You know, I don't know what all these terms are anymore, but it's almost like he has Asperger's or something, you know. And the thing about those people is that a lot of them are hyper intelligent and they are task oriented, and they have this internal gauge of honesty and task affirmation, task completion. They have to, if they set their mind to something and they start doing it, like a puzzle. You want to drive one of these people crazy? Let them start a puzzle and don't let them finish it. Or let them start a puzzle but take a couple pieces out. It'll make them crazy. So I am a little, many people have, one of the things you learn, Psych 101, when you're in school, is that you start learning about all these mental issues, and you start thinking you have every one of them, because the truth is we do. Every one of us has a little bit of every mental problem. It only becomes a real problem if one of those issues starts taking over all the other issues. That's when it's a real problem. But he's a functional, well, he's a nerd. He's a dweeb, you know? And he's not cool, all right? But he's super smart, super wealthy, he has great ideas, he makes things happen. He knows how to get people together, put ideas, get the right people, and he makes sure he gets the best work out of people. And he does that by hiring people who are just like himself. And so he was hired, and he wasn't even hired. He wasn't even paid. The guy did it on his own dime, hurt himself financially with his businesses and everything else for 3 months to work with the government, work with Trump, and create this Department of Government Efficiency. And it worked. And it's still working. It's going to continue to work. And it's one of the best things that's ever happened, in my opinion. And that's his thing. His mission is save money. That's it. So what he was pissed off about is this new big beautiful bill, because it's going to have all, you know, it's going to have pork in it and everything else that he doesn't want to see, because his job is to cut it. That's what he's angry about. Because he's a child, and that's the same thing with the hand thing and everything else he does. He jumps up in the air. Oh, he does all these animated things because when he's excited and he's happy, he's like a 7-year-old kid. Oh my God! Oh, and he jumps up. And you ever hang out with kids? That's what they do. You get them ice cream, ice cream, ice cream. That's all it is. This is all it is he's an overgrown child with, you know, worth billions of dollars. That's all it is. Simple as that. So he's got this mindset of, hey, man, you brought me in here. I'm trying to save money. But then you got this bill. The thing is, he can't even be mad at Trump. Trump didn't write the bill. This is Congress. This is the other thing. Trump's still got to deal with the people that are already there in the government, most of whom are corrupt on one level or another. So Doge, that whole program is going to, you know, out a lot of this stuff, and hopefully this stuff gets out there to the public, and then those people lose their jobs and things start getting better. It's going to take time. We're not even 6 months into this yet, right? It's like, that's how fast. And the funny thing is like when this, like I didn't expect too much, to be honest with you. I wanted Trump to win, just because of the last 4 years of the crazy, right? The new wars. And that's the other thing. People are on Trump about war. They're making it sound like, I've seen people from the right posting things like, oh, you know, we voted for Trump because we didn't want war, but we got all these wars. Trump didn't start any of the wars that he's dealing with right now. He's literally trying to get them ended as fast as possible. And he's stopped a couple new ones from happening already. All right, this thing with Ukraine and Russia, that's not Trump's fault. Trump had nothing to do with that. He's trying to end it. Lindsey Graham going over there, by the way, last week, right? And then that crazy drone strike that happened into Russia, which was kind of a genius thing. I mean, I'm not supporting it, but genius move using the latest in technology to pull that off. That's pretty crazy. Here's the thing on the battlefield, people. Shotguns. You got to be armed with shotguns, with double aught buck. Maybe you'll develop some new rounds for this, but you can take a drone out with that. It's very difficult to take a drone out with a rifle, right? First of all, you're scared to death. Here comes a drone and it's armed. It's going to blow up. It's going to hit you and blow up. They've been doing this to guys on the battlefield. You can watch these videos on YouTube. I don't recommend it. You're going to have a hard time sleeping. They basically fly the drone up and the guys swat him away, but the drone comes into him and blows up. It just blows the guy up into pieces. It's like a flying hand grenade, man. And if you've got a rifle and your adrenaline's pumping, and these guys, they're not SEALs or Marines or anything. They're not just taking aim. But also, it's not easy to hit a drone coming at you at speed and doing this. That can do this. It's very difficult to hit that. But if you got a 12 gauge shotgun, you can take that thing out, man. If you got a rifle, right, for drone defense, mount a 12 gauge shotgun right underneath that barrel, like you would mount a M203 grenade launcher. That's what I'd be doing. If I was in the field now, matter of fact, I might do that with my AR. Not a bad idea. I'm calling it here first. Modern 21st century combat kit, mount a shotgun underneath the barrel of your rifle. Somebody's going to send a drone your way, take that drone out. That's what they should. I can't believe they're not doing it. I can't believe that hasn't already been a thing to do. At any rate, genius move. But the wrong thing to do when you're trying to get peace established. Okay? And that's because Lindsey Graham and these other people that have been in Washington for a while are in on the grift with Ukraine. When Obama was president, the underhanded dealings, the shenanigans that were going on with Biden and in Ukraine, and we know what he did there. And then when he was president and sending them all these billions of dollars that now people don't even know where it all went. Well, it went into the pockets of these politicians and these companies and everything else. So they want to keep that going because they want to keep the money coming. And probably because they spent a lot of money and took a lot of money and where they were supposed to deliver. And when Trump came in, all of a sudden the delivery of whatever it is that they want, which is World War III, got stopped. So some of them are now working in cahoots with one another to try to kick off World War III. And that's not Trump. And I'm telling you right now, if a World War III situation kicks off, like full blown, and we actually go somewhere, that's still not going to be Trump's fault. That's going to be the fault of the Democrats and the rhinos, the established government. That's who it is. There's the new young people coming in had nothing to do with that. So it's a crazy situation. It's really scary, actually. I don't want to see any of that happen. But none of it is Trump's fault. And we're already seeing positive things of the Trump effect, you know. It looks negative to people on the left because that's what they're being told. They just believe what they're told by the same people who keep lying to them. At any rate, that's what's going on. And that whole thing with Elon, the thing with Elon and Trump's already over. Elon already deleted his posts on X. And people are talking about him being a drug addict, and they mentioned ketamine. And if you look at his behavior, I mean, Elon is so focused on task. Like, you know, if he does a job, he takes it to the end, to its logical conclusion, which is why he keeps knocking up women. If you're gonna have, the point of having sex is to have a kid. So in Elon's childlike minds, every time I fuck somebody, I gotta make a baby. Like, if he doesn't get somebody pregnant, that probably makes him crazy. Probably start sending him nasty texts. Why aren't you pregnant yet? There's pictures of you on Epstein Island. Which is another silly thing. He just said that because he was upset. Like, that does seem like somebody who's a little bit tipsy, maybe on some drugs, don't know what time. I didn't look at the time of day that would be an interesting thing. If somebody screenshotted that, look at the time that was posted, because that could be somewhat telling, depending on the time that it was posted. But he was just emotionally upset is all. But the thing is, there's like one picture I'm aware of where it's Trump and Epstein. If there's more, it's probably very similar. But the one I see is it's Trump and some model or something, Epstein and that Maxwell broad, right? But it's a public event. If you look in the background, it's a party. There's a bunch of people around. And if these parties, if you don't know, they hire photographers who walk around and take pictures of people together with other people, right? It's press, it's publication stuff and everything else. Of course, we know now with the Epstein stuff, a lot of that is because, look, pretty good chance. I don't know how into the weeds you guys have gone on this, but pretty good chance that Epstein was actually working for Mossad, right? The Israeli intelligence service, like their CIA. And so they were collecting all this information on famous people, politicians, and all of that on the island. But there's no record that Trump ever went to the island. Matter of fact, Trump kicked him out of his club in Florida once he found out that the guy was a scumbag. So I don't think, honestly, believe me, if Trump had done something, that shit would have been out. Democrats would have released that shit a long time ago. So, there's no there with that. And that's already blown over. It's already over, which is another thing. It's all right now, media and YouTube, social media, you can't believe anything as it's happening. As soon as something happens, you got to sit back and go, is this real? Like, try not to react to it. Like, let several days go by because it's going to settle. And it's going to take a little bit of time for the truth come out. It's like when they were all saying, when Trump was doing all the tariff talk, and which was all orchestrated. He never had to do any of them. All he had to do was threaten to do it. And what happened? A bunch of countries came in, started talking to him to make deals. Now he made deals with them. More people are happy. So, and what happened to the stock market? There was a little issue for a couple days. Everybody said, oh, everybody talked a bunch of shit. My friends, I had friends that did it, talking a bunch of shit about Trump and everything else. I'm like, dude, relax. Nothing's happened yet. Okay, a couple days of now it's back up. So this is the thing. This is what they do. It's like, oh, this just happened. Boom, get it out there. Now they're getting it out there because it's self-serving for them. It helps their clicks, helps their algorithm, all that sort of thing. That's all that matters. The truth doesn't matter. It's their own personal issue, which is why I tend to try to stay away from it. I didn't even want to do the short, but that was an experiment for me. And sure enough, it was, I mean, I don't get big numbers anyhow. I'm not some attractive lady flashing her ass, some old guy with a beard. So that was just an experiment for me. I said to myself, I'm going to do this thing and we'll see what happens. And it's got over 3,000 views as a short. For me, that's pretty good. And, but I knew, like, okay, there's more information is going to come out. And I said it in there. It's probably going to be much to do about nothing. And that's exactly what happened. It's already gone away. So, and getting back to YouTube, for a year or more, it's been building. And now it's reaching this crescendo where it's just pissing me off. I get better information from a multitude of citizen-type journalists and alternative media and conversations and podcasts with experts in their field about all kinds of issues that I'm into and I find interesting, right? Than I do watching mainstream media, right? That's what I love about YouTube. No frills information. And a lot of it's very good. But lately, it's been shifting to too much bullshit for the algorithm. Because people, like, if you look at Benny Johnson, I should have looked it up before I opened this up, before I started talking, because he's probably got 1 million subscribers or more. He has a whole, cavalcade of employees, right? Who knows how many dozens of people he employs. He has to, multiple times a day, try to get tens of thousands of views, if not 100,000 views or more, per post, right? Because there's advertising on that. If you don't want to see ads on YouTube, pay the $19 a month. That's what I do. I don't like looking at ads either, so I just pay the $19 a month, whatever it is. So now I can watch YouTube without any interruptions. It's wonderful. But if you like a particular person like me, if you watch 30 seconds of an ad, that helps me, right? So that's how that works. That's why there's ads that pop up on my videos. I don't look at them. I don't even know what the hell is being advertised on my channel. It's crazy. But I'm thankful that it's happening because it's a few $100 every month that I get, So, and let's get into that now. Get into the personal stuff, just what's happened. Like you're gonna see some videos this week. I picked up an induction cooker off of Amazon, and then last week at the swap meet for $10, I picked up a hot plate. And there's other people have done this before, but I want to use the new power station I got and see which one's more energy efficient to cook with. And I want to do that because I think I'm going to go with the induction cooker on my next camping trip. And speaking of that, um, so the VA thing is happening, okay? The guy who I've been dealing with, who's helping me with this is what he does. He's a one-man operation. He's just like me. And there was a bunch of guys apparently ahead of me when we first started talking months ago. Excuse me. Apologize. That was December, right? So, and I still had to do a couple of appointments, which I did, and there was some back and forth, and they gave me 70% disability on the PTSD. Like he saw that. He's got an inside guy who showed him everything. But then I got a letter saying that they didn't do it because they were saying it wasn't service related, which it is. It's 100% service related. There's no doubt about it. And some other issues too that he found in the medical stuff. But we were going back and forth with it. I got him everything he needed. I talked to him about what happened. He finally, one day we had a talk, which made me realize he wasn't really taking everything I was sending him, paying too much attention to it, but that's because he was busy with other people. Excuse me, I'm really congested today. And it's not post-nasal drip or anything. It's because I haven't talked to anybody yet. I haven't been up and exercising, which, by the way, I've been very lazy. I mean, I'm on my feet working in the shop, but I'm not walking and jumping around and doing my normal workouts. I've been packing on a few pounds lately, and I gotta turn this around. It's just because I got too much going on in my brain that's uncertain, that weighs on me a little bit. I've been a little down in the dumps a little bit myself lately. I'm not gonna cry though. I'm not gonna cry. Sarah cried in a video the other day. I can't do it. I could do it. I did it last week. I cried in the video a little bit. I got kind of emotional somehow. But anyhow, how was I saying? The VA stuff. So the good news is he got to me last week and typed it right up and sent it out. And he sent me a little note. He's like, here's what I put in there. And he made sure I knew about his pay scale because he's very confident that this is going to go through. So, yeah. So he says I should know in a couple weeks now. So hopefully this will all work out and it'll work out in my favor. And because I need the medical, that's the big thing I need. I need to get at least 70% disability rating to get full medical coverage. Because I haven't been to a doctor since like 1987, like for a physical or something like that. So I need to deal with all that stuff. I need somebody to stick their thumb up my ass. Not their thumb, this finger here. I don't want the thumb. The thumb's fatter. I don't want that. I need somebody with a little tiny finger like this one. I don't know. Maybe I'll like it. This could be a whole new life-changing event for me. But the point is, I need this to happen. And that's not out of desperation. It's just a life thing. Funny thing, not that I know there's a bunch of people here that aren't into this. Life is funny. I got to do a video talking about just life sometime because I went through this life a long time, pretty bummed out, depressed, not happy. Things didn't go the way I thought they would when I was young. And when we're young, a lot of us stress out anyhow and worry about things. It takes years of life to realize that worrying is a waste of time. And I can't tell you guys on my 50th birthday, I had this death experience. And since then, life has been a totally different vibe for me. And I think part of that has enabled me to, but it could also just be maturity, reflect on my life. And I look back on it now and I realize, actually, I had it pretty good. There was definitely stressful times. And I had a lot of kicks in the nuts, so to speak. And but overall, I manifested the things that I wanted. It's just that I kept my wants and desires pretty tame. I didn't think about big stuff. That's what I do now. And I see things. And when I see things in my mind, they happen. and I see this big trip coming up. And not only that, but many people, many of you, some of whom have become friends. I'm having conversations with some of you guys on the phone, and friends of mine that have known me for a long time, they have been very vocal with me about it. Like, they are seeing things for me. So I'm seeing all this happen. And I've got this vision now for the future that makes me feel pretty good. But it is somewhat predicated on this VA thing coming through. So cross your fingers. Let's have some positive thoughts. Because I think a couple things. So number one, where I live, there's this parking lot right here, right out this kitchen window. And they're going to build a structure there. I'll do a video on it soon. I'll show you the one they already built 2 buildings down, same owners. So the last few weeks, they've been putting in a new electrical panel because they got to redo all these buildings were built in 1926. They got to redo all the electrical. They don't have to pull the wires inside the units, but they got to rewire all of them to the box, to the new meters. They have to do all that before they break ground and start building back here. When they build back here, it's going to suck. And it's going to take the better part of a year. So that brings a whole bunch of issues with it. One of the issues is I looked at the plans and they call for a height of 7 feet for parking underneath it. Well, the van is higher than 7 feet. So I won't be able to park the van back here. So I've been thinking about buying another vehicle. I have been talking to Eliza, Sarah's sister, about her 4Runner. We'll talk about that too. I don't know if we'll talk about it in this video, because that's a shorter vehicle, but it's actually more off-road capable. We'll talk about it real quick here. The problem with it is she was told the head gasket was going to go. One of our mutual friends who's a mechanic told me he did a compression test. He said the engine's fine. However, it's got 208,000 miles on it. So it's not fine. It's going to go anyhow. And it's going to need a timing belt too. And I can do those things. However, I went to my shop over here. I do a lot of my work myself. I've done a head gasket before. I've pulled engines apart and rebuilt. I've done everything. But I talked to him about it, and he told me, he says, with that engine on those Toyotas, when you pull the heads, you want to send them to a machine shop, mainly to have them machined so that when you put them back on, there's no leaks. But it's not a bad idea to have the heads looked at, maybe freshened up at the same time. I asked him what it costs to have all that stuff done, and he doesn't do it there. He has a shop that does it, but it's about $8,000 to basically have your engine rebuilt or freshened up. That's a lot of money. So that's a thing. And that's why her mechanic will only offer like $1,500 for that truck. So I'm on the fence with that. Point is, I'm kind of looking for a second vehicle for that. Now, that's because my thought process was, if I'm living here while they're doing this building, I don't want to park the van on the street while that's happening. And I can park the van at the house where my I have a garage workshop. It's about 3 miles away. Those people are cool. They'd let me do that, and it's secure. It's gated, locked up, and everything, and it's fine. But I'd probably want another vehicle at that time to park on the street that I don't care as much about. That's why that 4Runner appealed to me. It's like 20 years old, you know. Okay. Well, now I'm thinking, you know, if the VA thing comes in pretty soon, within the next month or so, it's my 40th high school reunion coming up. It's this year. And my friends would like me to be home. And I'm thinking, well, I filed for this over a year ago. So there's going to be back pay for over a year. Plus, you get paid basically every month. So I'm kind of thinking like, well, I could take some time off from here. And because the meters are in already, the timing might work out perfect where I could take off for 4 months or more and maybe do an epic drive, which would be great for you guys. It would be great for the channel. I'd be living in the van, driving all over the place, doing fun stuff, and visiting friends all over the country. Spend a month or more at the Jersey Shore, surf with my buddies at the beach and everything else. Shoot down the coast down into Florida, see a friend in Georgia, see friends in Kentucky, all of it. Moab, there's some stuff I want to take the van on in Moab and all that. I still need to, as far as the van goes, I need some custom springs made still for the rear. I got a line on that. I want to talk to him. And then I think I'm going to replace my upper and lower ball joints, and then all the linkage for the steering up front. That's pretty old. I think it's all original there. So once I do those couple little things, no big deal. I've done the ball joints before. I can do all that shit myself. Bring it in for an alignment. The truck's going to raise about another inch, and I'm done as far as mechanically with that truck. Other than that engine at some point, and hopefully it lasts a lot longer. So the point is, if I'll get the van dialed, I could take off. And while I'm doing that, if they break around here and start doing this, that means I would avoid all the BS going on, the noise, the construction noise, and everything else. By the time I get back here, that'll be built already. They'll still be doing some finish work or whatever, but that'll be easier to deal with. So that's a thought. Now, all you guys are thinking, what about the house in Arizona? Well, that's another thing. I think I think the smart thing to do. It's hard. It's a hard decision. I've been in this apartment for, well, it was February '93, right? 32 years in this apartment, and I love this apartment. You know, it's not always perfect, but I get a breeze coming through here. It's a good area to live in. I can walk to stuff. My rent is very inexpensive because I've been here so long. It's hard. Change is a thing, and I don't like moving. However, I got the house in Arizona, and it is paid for and everything else. And I've been paying to keep it running, paying the taxes on it and all the bills on it and everything else. I think what's happening here is that I'm coming up on that time where I have to make this decision, and obviously, financially speaking, and for the channel, the smart move is probably to move to Arizona. So what I want to happen and what I need to happen, and again, not in a desperation sense of it at all, is this VA stuff to kick in. Take this trip, have a good time, see a bunch of people, do a lot of thinking about life and whatnot. Come back after that, which would be the fall. Although there might be a surfing trip to El Salvador in October, which I'd like to do with my friends. I was talking to one of my buddies about that already too. So I'd like to do that, October, November. Be back here and then make that decision, which has nothing to do with the structure being built back there. Now, this is just the kick in the pants, which is what I think they're doing on purpose. There's a bunch of us that have lived here for a long time. They'd like to get us out of here so they can rent the other apartments. By the way, some good news here. That crazy witch that moved in next to me, and I had to do that video why normies can't be friends with loonies. She moved out. She was so bad, man. And before she left, like a couple days before she left, she started burning incense in the hallway because she knew I hated it. She had this incense that was like this putrid smell. It would make me sick to my stomach, like I wanted to vomit. And just to remind you guys, this chick was from New York. She was a teacher. She taught, kids with mental disabilities or something. Not attractive. Never thought she was attractive. Never found her attractive. She had kind of a tight figure on her, but she showed that off all the time. Always with the midriff, no bra. Nipples were hard like it was the Antarctic or something. Ass super tight like yoga shorts, just basically naked. Just something here, skin tight, something here, skin tight. That was it. And when she moved in, she was very gregarious towards me and nice and talking to me about sex and needing to get laid and was looking for a boyfriend, and she was trying to do online dating and telling me what she walks around the apartment naked, basically planting all these seeds in my head. And my whole time I'm looking at her like, you gross me out. Like she had that stupid nose piece piercing here and a bunch of tattoos all over the place. And she was like translucent white, like the kind of white where you see the veins through her legs and everything. Just not her. I didn't like, there wasn't anything about her that I found attractive. But she was cool to me, so I was cool with her. And she needed help. I hung a bunch of shit. I'm the man. Hung stuff for her, did other things. And then she turned into this nightmare. And if you don't remember, we had already established this relationship of talking, and I was always myself with her, and she never seemed to have a problem with it. But one day I made a comment, no different than a comment I've made around her before with my other neighbor or anything else, and it's a compliment. It was just like, oh, you look good in those shorts, And she made a weird comment when I said that. And then a day or two later, she said, I want to talk to you. And she sat me down. I sat down. She started saying, you made this comment the other day and I really didn't appreciate it. I said, I stopped her. I said, it'll never happen again. And I got up and I walked away. That was fine. I didn't think it would be that big of a deal. But then, like a few days later, my manager asked me about it because he went to her, or she went to him and said it. So she now is spreading a rumor trying to make me look like some sort of pervert, like I was coming on to her or something, which I wasn't. And right then I knew what I was dealing with. And she's a loony lefty too, kooky person, right? This is what these people do. They will manipulate you. They'll get on your side, they'll say all this stuff, and then they'll use something against you to get their way. And that's what she was doing with me. And then I did the video on it. I never spoke to her again. And several weeks ago, she would do this thing because she had a cat. And I'm allergic to cats. First thing she started doing was leaving her front door open. There's a landing. There's a stairs that go up. There's a landing, her door, my door. And she let the cat out there. And I can't have that. And I told her so, but she kept doing it. I told the manager, then she stopped. But then she'd leave her back door open. The problem is these doors back here, they open out. And she'd leave the door open. I can't get past that door because she's put a table and chair out there. And I told her when she first moved in, you can't leave your door open because it blocks my egress. I can't get out of here. So I had to close the door all the time. And she kept leaving it open because of the cat. My point is, she moved in. We don't know her. And she just starts doing whatever she wants to do like nobody else here matters. I don't do anything else here. I don't do anything here to annoy anybody else. I don't even wear shoes in my apartment because I'm on the second floor and I'm conscientious about the person who lives under me. You understand what I'm saying? So I walked past her a few weeks ago and she said to me, you could talk to me, And I just kind of glanced and I just kept walking. I'm like, I can't talk to you because anything I say to you can and will be used against me. Because that's her crazy person mindset. So anyhow, I'm happy she's gone. But the point is, they're going to get like $3,000 for that apartment. And I'm sure they'd like to get that for this one. So I don't know. I think it's run its course, probably LA. And the truth is, between what I'll probably end up with VA stuff, and as this channel gets better and grows, I could be in a position where I don't really need to do anything else. And I could live okay. I will, however. Right? I've been making watch bands. I got an order to do, selling one, hopefully this week. And I do my furniture thing. I make all kinds of stuff. You guys know that's what I do here. So if I could be in a position where I don't need to work, then I can focus on art more. And not only that, I can do more fun things with the van. Like where the house is in this little town called Huachuca City in Cochise County in Arizona. It's down near the border. It's higher elevation though. That town is at like 4,600 feet. Bisbee's about 30 minutes away, and that's a mile high. So it's even cooler there. Then there's another mountain, there's a whole mountain range that I can go up whenever I want. If it's too hot, I can camp up there or whatever. And it gets snow in the wintertime. It doesn't stick, but it does. It gets snow and it gets a rainy season and all that. And it just hit me. It's like, if I'm living there, if you guys might remember, I was there for New Year's Eve this past year. And I did some videos while I was there. And it turns out there's a stair builder there and he sells lumber. And then I have friends that own restaurants, one in Bisbee, one in Sierra Vista. And they introduced me to all the people up in Bisbee that own businesses and everything else. And there's a contract up there that wanted me to work for him while I was there. And I couldn't do it. And my point is now I know I can do there what I do here. So I've been told that it's very hard. They don't have guys there that can do what I do. I know there's one guy that can do some furniture around there, and I've seen his work. I'm sure he's a nice guy. His attention to detail isn't as good as mine. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but that's just a fact. And then the contractor who wanted me to work for him told me, he says he can't find good finish guys that can do the sort of thing that I do. And I've been told that their high end, about the max you could charge there is basically $130 an hour. And I don't need to charge that much. I'm happy at $100. The $100 an hour is basically my buddy price, if I'm helping somebody out. So, because contractors here in LA can charge, a lot of them are charging upwards of $300 an hour. It's pretty crazy. But of course, most of them are licensed and bonded. insurance, that sort of thing. And but that doesn't mean you're good at what you do, right? It just means that you're locked in and you're playing within the system. I'm outside of the system. So that's just how that works. But keep in mind, I don't work a lot as it is. I barely get by. I do enough stuff to buy food, pay the bills. That's it. You know, once in a while I work a little harder because I got to do something to the van, or, you know, when I was spending money on watches, that sort of thing. But I basically float by. I'm barely getting by because I like keeping my life simple. I don't want to have all this stuff. I don't want to have all these jobs and people working for me and being responsible for all that shit, because it can stop in an instant. Something crazy can happen. It can be over, and now you've disappointed all these people and everything else. And I don't think I could live with that, which is one of the reasons why I just kind of kept it. Plus, well, I don't need to get all the way into this. It does all stem from the Marines. But this is all these things that are going on in my brain. So what I'm getting at here, long way around to saying, I think it's about time. So I think this time next year, pretty good chance I could be in the house in Arizona. I'm not in a rush. But it does make sense. Okay? And if I'm there, and once a month or so, I take on some project, build something for somebody there. There are people there with money. I've already done a couple projects for people there. They can afford it. So I could basically live there exactly the way I was living here. And there's a lot of cool shit around there, man. Arizona is pretty amazing. I mean, the Apache Wars took place around there. There's an old Pony Express station near there. There's a lot of history. So I can get in the van and I can drive to these places and I can show you guys cool stuff. And it's not like some crazy haul. And I'm not driving through some major metropolitan area that annoys me. You understand? I can go to northern Arizona. And, you know, think about it. When it's warm there in the summertime, I don't need to be there. Every summer, I could get in the van and I could go to Canada. I could go someplace in the mountains, anywhere in the country where it's cooler, go to the coast someplace, visit friends, right? When it starts cooling down, back at the house, working, making stuff, taking on projects. And I could do that till the day I die and have a pretty comfortable, fun life and be entertaining you guys. And who knows what else is going to happen, because the comedy thing is happening. I'm not giving that up. I've already been writing some fun stuff. Doug Stanhope lives in Bisbee. I haven't yet met him, but the people I know there, they're friends with him. And they want to introduce me to him because they think I'm funny. So who knows what can happen with all that. It might not have anything to do with him, by the way. I'm going to just do this on my own. So a lot of stuff's happening. And it's all looking pretty positive to me. I'm just, you know, this whole video starting out, you know, the first 40 minutes of it or so, talking about Trump and Elon and the stupid stuff going on here downtown with the ICE and the stupid media and annoying YouTube AI crap and everything else. That's just what a lot of you guys want me to talk about. I don't want to have to think about that shit too much, to be honest with you. You know, that's it. Let me just get out of here. There was a bunch of funny stuff I wanted to get into, but I guess I didn't have the time for it today. You guys be good to one another. And honestly, thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. Should be some fun stuff happening this week. You know, we'll see how it goes. I am looking for my next gig, by the way. So I got to build something else cool. The mantle came out great. That guy is so happy. So happy. But I need another project. It's funny, when I'm doing a project, I feel really good. I get up, I'm motivated, and as soon as I'm done with it, I get kind of like, ugh, and I don't know what to do with myself. And there's things I should be doing, like working out and cleaning this friggin' apartment, but I'm not doing it. It's easy for me to be lazy. There's nobody for me to impress. Okay, go away. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Have a good week. Be good humans. Be good to one another. Help somebody out. And I'll catch you in the next one.